Let's get ready to uncover the alien terror that's lurking underneath the Antarctic ice. Today, we're jumping off into the icy depths of horror as I stopped off at my local video store and I rented John Carpenter's The Thing. So grab your popcorn and grab that flamethrower while you're at it, because this is one frostbitten ride you're not gonna wanna miss. Sometimes you just gotta stare that motherfucker in the eye and ask the guy, are you an alien monster from outer space? Let's just get this one right out of the way. The Thing rocks so much. I had a blast just sitting in my bed throwing on the 4K version of this film and watching it in all its glory. So before Wilford Brimley tries to give me some sort of diabetes medication, let's just jump right on into John Carpenter's The Thing. Our opening scene is a Norwegian helicopter as it's hunting down what is a sled dog as they both head to the American research station. Shots are going off one by one as they are trying desperately to kill this dog. We are first introduced to our group of American researchers who wander out to find out what all the commotion is all about. The Norwegian accidentally blows up his own helicopter, and not knowing any English, he can't tell the Americans to stay the hell away from that dog. He takes off more shots and shoots Bennings in the leg. Well, Gary acts fast and takes one shot at the Norwegian and kills him. After the chaos subsides, RJ McCready and Dr. Cooper leave in the helicopter to find out what exactly is going on at this Norwegian base. They stumble upon the burned remains of some kind of alien humanoid. Also, they find the remaining frozen bodies. They are quick to know that something is not right. They take back the alien humanoid looking thing to their base, plus lots of paperwork. Now, Blair starts the autopsies of the remains, and well, wouldn't you know, they find a normal set of human organs. We see throughout the beginning of the film that this mysterious dog has been roaming the camp all day. The dog even goes into one of the rooms as it's left up to a mystery on who exactly was in that room with the dog. Finally, Bennings asks Clark to cage that damn dog, as for fuck's sakes, he was just shot today. After being locked up, we see that the other dogs do not want anything to do with this alien canine. McCready sets the alarm off, alerting everyone in camp. They find the dog is changing shape and has absorbed a few of the other dogs. Now Matt tells Childs to bring the fucking flamethrower after their gunshots had failed to kill this thing. They light this baby up on fire and kill the fucking beast. They again head to the autopsy room and discover that this thing will perfectly imitate other life forms and was in the process of doing so before they found it. After studying the paperwork brought back from the Norwegian base, they set back off in the helicopter and end up at a large excavation site as they find an alien spacecraft that is barely covered anymore, declaring it to have been there for 100,000 years. Now, before heading back, they find another dig site that matches what was dug up at the Norwegian camp. Now, back at base, Blair is running some tests on the computer and finds out that this thing has infected some of them at this camp, as this means the world is in danger. Mac is asked to move out some stuff from a storage area, as this is where they plan to store this thing, as they think it's going to be the find of the century. Mac goes to speak with Fuchs outside to discuss the findings of Blair. In the meantime, Windows had left to go get the keys when he sees that Bennings is being transformed into the Thing. Windows runs to go get Mac and Fuchs as they find Bennings outside finalizing the transformation. Acting fast, they burn the fuck out of this thing. After this, Blair loses his shit and takes out the helicopter and all other modes of transportation. Plus, he executes the rest of the dogs and takes out all other means for communication. Blair begins to take shots at the group. Mac, with the help of the others, is able to take down Blair, and they lock his ass up in the shed outside. The group begins to brainstorm and decides that they can test for the virus by testing the blood of the crew against the blood that's in the storage fridge. They make their way to find out that someone else had this idea also. The blood is everywhere and the fingers are being pointed. Windows all of a sudden remembers that he did drop the keys, and he takes off and grabs his shotgun. Gary tries to talk him down, but ultimately Gary is voted off the island as Mac wins the vote to become the new leader. Outside the camp, we see that Fuchs has died as he looks to have committed suicide by burning himself in order to avoid becoming the Thing. Mac sends Windows back in, and Knowles and Mac head up to his shack as well. Mac did not leave his lights on. After a quick 45 minutes has passed, the group is not wanting to wait for Knowles and Mac. All of a sudden, Knowles shows up and claims Mac has assimilated into the Thing. Mac shows up and calls bullshit and threatens to blow the entire place up. They back off him and Norris goes down with cardiac arrest. Well, Cooper tries CPR to revive Norris, but his chest caves in and tears Cooper's arms off instantly, killing the poor dude. As they bust out the flamethrower and burn the fucking thing again. We see Norris's head detached from the body in pretty awesome fashion. Again, they burn that motherfucker. It's instituted that they are going to perform a blood test to determine who is the Thing and who isn't. Most of the dudes in the group are highly skeptical this is going to work, until Clark steps towards Mac and he puts a bullet in his head. The testing begins and everyone is clean until Palmer assimilates and all hell breaks loose. Windows is then infected as Mac has to turn the flamethrower on both of them. Everyone else is clean and it comes down to Blair. They go to test him but see that he isn't in the shed anymore. They find an underground area and see that Blair was keeping busy building a spaceship. Well, fuck your spaceship, Blair, as they blow this thing to smithereens. Now, Childs is missing and the generators have been taken out completely. It's figured out that the Thing intends to hibernate till the rescue team arrives in the spring. Well, fuck that. Mac, Gary, and Knowles set out to blow this place up and fucking kill that Thing once and for all. They begin to set explosives when Gary is killed by Blair and Knowles just straight up disappears. It's Mac versus the Thing. Blair transforms into a giant monster and breaks the detonator, but Mac is able to set off the explosives with dynamite and blows up the entire station. We end the movie with Child showing back up and claiming that he had gotten lost after going for Blair. Well, Mac doesn't give a shit because at this point, they are pretty fucked. They sit down and decide to pass the bottle of J&B back and forth, as you're left to wonder, are either one of them the Thing? John Carpenter's The Thing is a horror masterpiece, and I think most of you would probably agree with this. Now, this being a remake from the 1951 The Thing from Another World, John Carpenter's The Thing was a completely different take on the film. It's hard to believe that this movie essentially was panned by critics and gave John Carpenter a huge blow to his status in Hollywood. Well, that really teaches you what those critics actually know, as John Carpenter's The Thing is now 42 years old and is standing the test of time as being one of the greatest movies in the genre's history. The cast of this film is an all-timer. Plus, you bring back Dean Cundey with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. You just couldn't make a film like this in Hollywood anymore. In many ways, saying that, it kind of makes me sad, but at least you can look back in the past and still watch these classics whenever you want. When I got back into horror movies back in 2017, this was one of the first movies I went out and bought. I've seen this movie at least a dozen times at this point. Now, back in 2021, my local theater had John Carpenter's Thing playing for a week. To me, it's like a religious experience to be able to get to see some of my favorite films of all time on the big screen. So I highly suggest staying the hell out of Antarctica and make sure you got some J&B in the freezer, because until next time, I'll see you at the video store.